the other in sin, and between them, a crown bathed in blood. The world remembers kings by their wars, but queens are remembered by their wounds. In the storm of England's faith and fury, two daughters of the same father stood before destiny, Mary Tudor and Elizabeth, sisters not by choice, but by the cruel invention of power. I am fate. And I have watched crowns devour bloodlines. Tonight I tell you how a crown tore two sisters apart and birthed the loneliness of a queen. In the beginning, there was love. Mary, the cherished daughter of King Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon, raised in silks and scripture. Her faith was her crown long before gold ever touched her head. She was the pride of a kingdom, the proof of a holy marriage. Her father called her my pearl of the world. Then came the child who should never have been, Elizabeth. Born of Anne Boleyn, the woman who broke Mary's mother's heart. The court whispered, bastard child. But fate whispered louder, future queen. For a brief moment they were sisters, two girls bound by the same blood, divided by their father's sins. They shared tutors, servants, and silence. In their eyes, the same flicker of fear and ambition. Yet every smile hid the truth. Only one daughter would inherit England's soul. When their father's heart stopped, the kingdom trembled, and the crown began its cruel journey. First came Edward, the boy king, young, frail, devoutly Protestant, his crown too heavy for his brow. Mary waited in prayer. Elizabeth waited in patience. Power, once awakened, devours peace. When Edward died, the realm fell into confusion. Ambitious hands crowned Lady Jane Grey, a child queen who ruled for 9 days. But Mary, the true-born daughter of Henry, rose in fire and fury. She gathered armies, priests, and the faith of a nation long silenced. The elder sister was now queen, but the throne once touched by betrayal never forgets its poison. Her reign was meant to heal her mother's wounds. Instead, it reopened them. In her desire to cleanse England's soul, Mary burned hundreds in the name of faith. And in the silent corner of her court stood a sister she could no longer trust. I have loved you as my own blood, yet I see treason in your silence. Sister, I have only prayed, but in a court ruled by fear, prayer sounds like rebellion. Behind the cold walls of the tower, the younger sister waited. Days turned to months, her world reduced to prayers and shadows. She did not cry, not once. For tears were weakness, and she had learned that silence was armor. What began as sisterhood had become prophecy. One queen praying for forgiveness. One prisoner learning to rule through patience. Mary's health withered. Her dreams betrayed her body. She believed she carried a child, but the child was death itself. Her court turned cold. Her husband, Philip of Spain, grew distant. And in the silence of her final nights, Mary's thoughts turned to the sister she had caged. May she be a better queen than I have been a daughter. The prayer was real, but fate does not forgive so easily. When the crown left Mary's dying hand, it found the one who had waited in silence. Elizabeth rose, not from mercy, but from endurance. The throne remembered her name. The people whispered hope. The world would soon call her Gloriana. But every crown carries a ghost. And in Elizabeth's golden reign, the shadow of her sister would never fade. Power does not unite blood, it burns it. This was only the beginning. Elizabeth rose from the ashes of her sister's crown. She inherited a kingdom scarred by fire, fear, and faith. England was a land of shadows, and she would walk its halls alone, yet every step carried the weight of a crown that was never hers to take. She was called Gloriana by some, but in the quiet moments, she heard only whispers of Mary's ghost. Every stone in the tower, every flicker of candlelight, reminded her of what power demanded. Sacrifice, she ascended, Elizabeth understood. A queen without an heir is a queen without mercy. Her advisors murmured about marriage, alliances, and diplomacy. Foreign kings pressed their claims. Her court was a chessboard, and every move could cost a head. Yet Elizabeth had learned patience from her chains. She learned endurance from her prison. And most of all, she learned that silence can be a weapon. The people loved her, feared her, and whispered her name in every market and tavern. She walked among them with grace, yet in her heart she carried the weight of her sister's fire. Mary's legacy lingered like smoke. Her shadow reminded Elizabeth daily, power could not be won by kindness alone. Religious war simmered across the land. Protestants and Catholics eyed each other with suspicion. Mary had tried to impose faith with fire, and Elizabeth swore she would wield it with wisdom. She chose compromise, patience, and the sharpest of strategies. In silence, she built a nation, a crown for the people, but her heart remained hers alone. And yet, loneliness is the companion of a queen. No consort would share her throne. No lover would truly know her fears. She walked at night through the empty corridors of her palaces, listening to the echoes of her own footsteps. She wondered what life might have been had she not survived the tower, had her sister's shadow not loomed so large. Elizabeth's reign became legendary. Her image shone on coins, her words carved into the hearts of the people. Artists painted her face, immortalizing the calm authority that hid a tempest inside. She navigated the politics of Europe with brilliance and patience. Yet behind the golden curtains, she remained a prisoner of her own power. Every decision was a balance of life and death. Every alliance was a delicate thread stretched across continents. Her ships crossed the oceans, bringing riches and rumors. Her spies whispered secrets in the quiet halls. And always, always, she remembered the sister she had lost. Mary's ghost was not vengeance, it was a lesson. It reminded Elizabeth that fear could build kingdoms, but wisdom could sustain them. She spoke to her counselors with authority, but she also listened with care, for she had learned that words could wound as sharply as swords. The crown was a heavy jewel upon her brow, but it was also a shield and a sword. Elizabeth bore it with dignity, yet in quiet chambers she questioned its cost. Each day she ruled was a day shaped by shadows, the past of her sister, the future of her people, and the unending gaze of fate. Her heart remained untouched by marriage, untouched by love that could compromise her throne. Courtiers whispered, foreign ambassadors pressed, but Elizabeth moved with the precision of a queen who knew that her power was her own. And in that solitude, she became legend. Her speeches inspired generations. Her diplomacy kept wars at bay. Her presence commanded respect. Yet no crown, no title, no glory could fill the emptiness that lingered inside. Elizabeth built her empire from patience, intelligence, and endurance. She chose battles carefully, winning wars with strategy, not bloodshed. She navigated treachery, betrayal, and assassination plots, never letting her enemies see fear in her eyes. Every courtier, every diplomat, every foreign king learned that Elizabeth was not just a queen. She was England itself. The Virgin Queen became a symbol, not only of power, but of survival. She carried Mary's memory like a hidden flame, a reminder that crowns demand sacrifice, and that endurance is the true measure of a ruler. Every festival, every triumph, every victory was shadowed by the ghost of the sister she had loved and feared. Elizabeth understood that a crown cannot exist without shadows, and that history remembers not only the deeds of kings, but the endurance of queens. Through decades, Elizabeth maintained her rule. The seas grew alive with her ships, the arts flourished under her patronage, and the world looked to England with awe and respect. Yet her nights remained lonely. Every decision bore weight, every smile carried secrecy, and every crown, however golden, was a reminder of what was constant vigilance, the sleepless nights, the shadow of a sister who had taught her the price of survival. Elizabeth ruled for decades. Her name echoed across Europe. She was Gloriana, queen of a nation reborn, and yet she remained the woman who had survived chains, betrayal, and fear. The Virgin Queen had become legend, but in the quietest moments, she still felt Mary's presence, whispering lessons of power, patience, and the loneliness of a crown. And thus, Elizabeth's reign was a testament that endurance could build an empire, that wisdom could guide a nation, and that power could be held without surrendering the self. History would remember her, paint her, sing her praises, but only she knew the truth of the crown. Every glory bore a shadow, and every queen must walk alone. And so the story continues. The Virgin Queen, the shadow of Mary, and the eternal dance of power, patience, and sacrifice. England burned quietly under the reign of the Virgin Queen. Her people revered her, feared her, and whispered her name like a prayer. Yet the kingdom was never truly at peace. The embers of rebellion smoldered in hidden corners, and whispers of plots reached the ears of a queen who trusted no one. Elizabeth understood that power is never given. It is seized, maintained, and defended. Every ally could turn into a traitor. Every smile could mask a dagger. And every crown, no matter how golden, casts a shadow. From her earliest days, Elizabeth had learned the lesson of her sister's fire. Mary had burned with faith and fury, and Elizabeth had survived by patience, endurance, and silence. But now, the crown demanded more than survival. It demanded vigilance, cunning, and ruthlessness hidden behind grace. Rebellion came in many forms. Catholics who would see her dead, foreign powers that sought to divide England, and even her own counselors who whispered secrets behind closed doors. Each threat was a spark, and the Virgin Queen knew how to turn sparks into shadows that served her. The Babington plot, a plan to end her reign, to crown Mary Stuart, her cousin and Catholic rival, and to plunge England into fire once more. Elizabeth watched in silence. Her agents listened in the shadows. Her spies whispered truths hidden from the world. And every conspirator who thought themselves safe found themselves caught in the net of a queen who never blinked. Mary Stuart had been raised to challenge her, to claim what Elizabeth had fought for. Yet Elizabeth's power was not in armies alone. It was in the patience that outlasted betrayal, the wisdom that turned fear into loyalty, and the resolve to wear her crown with an unshakable calm. Elizabeth confronted treachery with words, with law, and with silence. Her enemies fell quietly, and the world never fully understood the storms she had weathered. Her reign became a dance of shadows, each move calculated, each silence deliberate. Yet the fires of rebellion were never truly extinguished. Plots multiplied like shadows at dusk. Mary Stuart remained a threat, a living reminder of the fragility of power. And Elizabeth, who had survived imprisonment and betrayal, knew that one lapse could ignite chaos. Even in the court, danger lingered. Courtiers sought favor, plotted marriages, and whispered loyalties. Elizabeth's smile concealed iron beneath velvet. Her charm was a weapon, her gaze a shield, and her silence a trap for those who underestimated her. Her reign was a paradox, celebrated across Europe, yet lonely in its triumphs. Every victory was tempered by the knowledge that enemies always lurked in the corners of power. The Spanish Armada approached, a fleet of fire and fury, seeking to crush England and restore Catholic rule. Elizabeth, calm and resolute, faced the storm not with fear but with strategy. Her ships, her sailors, her people, all moved as one under her command. The tide of battle became a testament to her endurance, her ability to turn danger into triumph, and her talent for reading the world with the eyes of a queen. Victory was hers, but it came with the cost of vigilance. Each day brought foreign kings sought marriage alliances, and whispers of forbidden romance danced in the halls. But Elizabeth knew the crown was hers alone. Her heart, while human, was bound by duty. The Virgin Queen would marry no one, for to share her throne was to risk the fall of England itself. And so, Elizabeth ruled with a mixture of wisdom, patience, and fearlessness. Her enemies faltered before her, her people adored her, and history began to carve her name into legend. Yet the shadow of Mary Tudor never left her side. Her sister's fire, once a danger to her life, became a silent reminder of the cost of power, the price of endurance, and the loneliness of a queen. Elizabeth's reign was marked by brilliance and caution. She nurtured the arts, encouraged exploration, and cultivated an empire that stretched across oceans. But she never allowed herself to forget the lessons of the past. Trust no one completely, anticipate betrayal, and wield power as both shield and sword. Plots continued to arise, each met with careful strategy and measured response. Mary Stuart, the Catholic queen in exile, was executed in 1587, ending a threat that had lingered like a shadow over Elizabeth's golden court. Yet even this act carried a heaviness. A queen must be strong, but the weight of every decision rests alone upon the crown. Elizabeth aged gracefully. Her wisdom deepens with each passing year. She became a symbol of England's resilience, a ruler whose intellect and strategy outshone the vanity and violence of kings. Her Virgin Queen persona was not only a political tool, but a reflection of the sacrifices she had made, of the endurance she had cultivated, and of the vigilance that never faltered. Her people flourished under her guidance. Trade expanded, arts blossomed, and the nation's reputation soared. Yet behind every festivity, every triumph, she remained alone with the memories of her sister, the whispers of betrayal, and the shadows of plots that never truly died. Elizabeth's legend was solidified not only by victories, but by her ability to survive in a world built on danger and intrigue. She embodied the essence of the crown: strength tempered by patience, power balanced by wisdom, and endurance shadowed by solitude. In her final years, Elizabeth reflected on the life she had carved from the trials and fires of rebellion. She had survived imprisonment, betrayal, threats, and war. She had outlasted enemies, foreign powers, and conspiracies, and she had transformed a fractured kingdom into a nation united in strength and pride. The Virgin Queen remained immortal in the hearts of her people. Her reign was a testament to the power of patience, strategy, and resolve. Her crown was heavy, yet worn with grace. Her solitude was profound, yet necessary. And the lessons of Mary Tudor, her sister, her shadow, her teacher, remained etched in the fabric of her reign. Elizabeth's story teaches that a crown is not merely a symbol of authority. It is a test of endurance, wisdom, and the ability to navigate treachery. Power demands vigilance, patience, and sacrifice. And though history will remember the triumphs, it is the quiet resilience, the unseen struggles, and the weight of choices that define a queen. Elizabeth walked her path alone, but her legacy endured. The fires of rebellion were met with wisdom. The shadows of Mary's crown were transformed into lessons, and the Virgin Queen became more than a ruler. She became a legend, a symbol of endurance, intelligence, and the solitary cost of power. History remembers her as Elizabeth I, Gloriana, the Virgin Queen. But only she knew the weight she bore, the vigilance required, and the shadows of the past that never truly left her side. And so, the story continues. The Virgin Queen, the echoes of Mary's fire, and the eternal dance of power, patience, and sacrifice that defines all who wear a crown. Elizabeth sat upon her throne, the weight of decades pressing upon her shoulders. The Virgin Queen had ruled with patience, wisdom, and vigilance, yet the solitude of the crown remained her closest her sister Mary's fire. England thrived under her guidance, its navy strong, its economy flourishing, and its people loyal. Yet behind the pageantry and triumph, Elizabeth felt the ghosts of those she had loved and lost, their whispers echoing in the quiet chambers of her mind. Mary Tudor's presence lingered like a half-remembered flame, not as an enemy, but as a reminder of the cost of power. The sister who had loved her, feared her, and burned with faith had shaped Elizabeth's understanding of what it meant to rule. Through suffering and endurance, Elizabeth had learned that the crown exacts a price beyond measure. The years had etched lines into her face, yet her eyes still held the sharp intelligence of youth. She had become a master of diplomacy, a navigator of intrigue, and a symbol of England's resilience. Her voice could calm a rebellious crowd, and her silence could silence a court. Elizabeth understood that authority is not given. It is earned through vigilance, endurance, and the courage to act alone. The shadows of her reign were many. Assassination plots, foreign threats, and religious divisions had tested her resolve time and again. The execution of Mary Stuart haunted her even in victory, a necessary act to secure her kingdom, yet one that weighed heavily upon her conscience. Elizabeth ruled as a monarch, but she lived as a woman who had survived fire, betrayal, and solitude. Her court celebrated her achievements, painting her as the eternal queen, but only she knew the relentless nights of contemplation, the hours spent reading dispatches, letters, and secret reports, weighing the lives of her subjects against the demands of duty. Every decision carried consequences, and every misstep could have cost England everything. Elizabeth's legacy was not only in victories won or battles fought, but in the culture she nurtured, the arts she patronized, and the exploration she encouraged. Shakespeare's plays, scientific discoveries, and voyages to the seas flourished under her reign, turning England into a beacon of culture and power. Yet behind the grandeur of her court, Elizabeth remained acutely aware of the fragility of her crown. She often reflected on her sister Mary. Mary's ambition, her passion, her suffering, all had shaped Elizabeth. The fire that once threatened to consume her became a guide, teaching Elizabeth the limits of mercy, the necessity of patience, and the endurance required to wield authority. The crown was both a symbol of triumph and a reminder of sacrifice, and Elizabeth bore it with dignity, grace, and vigilance. Even as age crept upon her, Elizabeth's mind remained sharp, her strategy unyielding, and her presence commanding. She ruled not through fear alone, but through respect earned from wisdom, strength, and the careful exercise of power. Every ally understood her authority, every enemy respected her judgment, and every subject learned that England under Elizabeth was a nation of order and endurance. The Virgin Queen's solitude deepened with time. Suitors and marriage proposals came and went, but she refused to share her throne or compromise her independence. Love, for Elizabeth, was a luxury she could not afford. Her loyalty belonged entirely to England, and her devotion to the crown defined her life. The final years of her reign were marked by reflection. Elizabeth considered the lives she had shaped, the enemies she had defeated, and the kingdom she had preserved. She understood that history would remember her, but only she truly understood the sacrifices required to achieve such renown. Her mind often wandered to the early days of her life, to the Tower, to Mary, and to the lessons learned through fear and endurance. Those memories were both torment and guidance, reminding her that the crown is not a reward, but a responsibility that demands vigilance, wisdom, and courage. Elizabeth's health began to decline, and the court whispered of the inevitable end. Yet even in frailty, her presence remained formidable. She commanded attention, respect, and loyalty until her final days. Her voice, though softer, still carried the authority of a lifetime, and her eyes, though tired, held the fire of a queen who had endured. She reflected on the legacy continue to shine long after her passing. Elizabeth understood that a queen's power is eternal in memory. Her victories, wisdom, and endurance would define England's story. Yet the ghosts of the past, especially Mary, remained intertwined with her legacy, reminding the world that every crown carries shadows and that the price of power is often invisible to those who admire it. In her final moments, Elizabeth felt the weight of the crown ease. She had survived every threat, outlasted every adversary, and preserved her kingdom through patience, strategy, and resilience. Her reign had become legend, not through conquest alone, but through the courage to endure, the wisdom to act with prudence, and the fortitude to walk alone when necessary. Elizabeth's eyes closed, and the world felt a silence unlike any other. The Virgin Queen had passed, leaving a kingdom transformed, a legacy immortal, and a crown that had survived the fires of rebellion, the shadows of her sister, and the relentless march of time. History remembers her as Elizabeth I, Gloriana, the Virgin Queen. Yet the truth of her reign lies in the endurance, wisdom, and courage that defined her every decision, every act, and every day of her life. The Golden Throne stands empty. Its legacy is carried by a nation that learned resilience from its queen. The ghosts of the past remain not as threats, but as reminders of the cost of power and the strength required to wear a crown with dignity. Elizabeth's story teaches that the crown is never merely a symbol. It is a test of patience, intelligence, and moral courage. It is a burden that demands sacrifice, endurance, and wisdom.